The small Italian restaurant on Maple Street smelled of rosemary, garlic, and freshly baked bread. Golden string lights twinkled softly above polished wooden tables, giving the space a dreamy, intimate warmth. Candles flickered on each table, their shadows dancing across handwritten menus. Lucy Carter sat by the window, her trembling hands folded tightly in her lap. She wore a soft blue sweater, frayed at the sleeves, and a long floral skirt that brushed her ankles. Loose golden curls framed her pale face. Her blue eyes, though kind, carried grief she could not quite hide. She had arrived early, not because she was eager, but because she was anxious. It had taken her 3 long months to gather the courage for this blind date. 3 months of convincing herself she was not betraying her late husband's memory. That meeting someone new didn't mean forgetting the love she had lost. On the table before her sat a single glass of water and a small paper bag. She had brought a pair of homemade cookies. Just a little gesture. Something her husband, Mark, would have teased her for, calling her someone's grandma. The door chimed. Lucy looked up. Her heart jolted. A tall man entered, not alone, but with 2 little girls. Identical twins, perhaps 4 years old. One clutched a stuffed fox. The other dragged a rainbow-striped backpack far too big for her. Their cheeks glowed pink from the evening chill. The hostess blinked in surprise. A man bringing kids on a blind date? The stranger scanned the room until his gaze found Lucy's. He smiled politely at the hostess, then led the girls toward her table. Lucy's stomach twisted. He was handsome even in worn jeans and a navy hoodie, but it wasn't his looks that unsettled her. It was the children. He reached her table, crouched to help one twin unzip her jacket, then looked up with calm eyes. "Hi, Lucy. I'm Ethan." His voice was deep but soft. She nodded slowly, almost whispering. Why did you bring your kids here?" He smiled, not defensive, not embarrassed. Genuine. "Because they're part of me." And just like that, Lucy's world shifted. Lucy hadn't expected this. She had expected awkward small talk. Maybe a man who was nervous or trying too hard. Not a stranger with 2 daughters in a sentence that sounded less like an excuse and more like the truth. The little girls slid into seats. One pulled out a crayon and began coloring on a napkin. The other carefully placed her stuffed fox on the table, like a dinner companion. Lucy's chest tightened. She was 29, a widow, a librarian who spent her days shelving books in a quiet corner of the city library. Her husband, Mark, had died in a car crash 3 years ago, along with the baby she had carried. They had just painted the nursery, just chosen the name. She had folded into herself since then, like pages of a book left out in the rain. Work, solitude, silence. And now this. Her blind date was not who she expected. Ethan Blake. What she didn't know was that Ethan wasn't just a struggling single dad. He was the CEO of Eat and Grow Organics, a national health food empire with stores across the country. His face had been on magazines. His name trended whenever a new store opened. But tonight, he wasn't the billionaire CEO. Tonight, he was simply a man with his daughters, Ella and Emma. When the babysitter canceled last minute, Ethan almost called off the date. But something in Lucy's messages had held him steady. She hadn't cared about wealth, titles, or appearances. She asked him about bedtime stories, about cloudy days, about simple things. So he came as himself, jeans, hoodie, borrowed Toyota Camry. And his girls. Dinner was chaotic, but warm. Lucy found herself cutting spaghetti into smaller bites of the twins, wiping juice off little chins, and offering fruit snacks she had tucked in her purse. "Would you two like some candy?" she asked softly. The girl's eyes lit up. "I'm Emma," chirped the bolder twin. "And I'm Ella," whispered the quieter one. Lucy smiled, her voice steadier now. "I'm Lucy." For the first time in years, she felt something stir. Not quite comfort, not yet trust, but curiosity. At one point, little Emma leaned close and asked innocently, "Are you our new mommy?" Lucy froze. Ethan opened his mouth to stop it, but Lucy chuckled nervously. "Oh no, sweetie. I'm just someone who likes crayons and bedtime stories." The girls giggled. Ethan exhaled, relief washing over his face. For the rest of dinner, laughter echoed between bites of pasta and warm bread rolls. Lucy even confessed softly, "I used to dream of this, little feet under the table, spaghetti sauce on cheeks, someone calling me mom." Her voice broke. "But I can't have children." The table fell silent. Ethan's eyes softened, not with pity, but with understanding. "I'm sorry," he said gently. "No," she whispered. "It's not fair." And then the twins giggled at their doodle of a bunny on a bicycle, and the heaviness lifted, replaced by unexpected joy. Over the weeks, they met again. Coffee dates, library visits, walks in the park. The twins adored Lucy. They drew crayon hearts with her name. They demanded her dragon voice for story time. They clung to her hand as if she belonged. And Ethan watched his guarded heart slowly unraveling. But Lucy's world shattered one afternoon at work. Her co-worker Miriam showed her an article on her phone. Ethan Blake, the billionaire behind Eden Grow Organics. There he was, in a tailored suit, shaking hands with global investors, standing beside luxury cars, smiling at gala events. Net worth, $1.2 billion. Lucy's blood ran cold. That evening, when she met Ethan at the park, she confronted him. "You lied to me," she whispered, phone trembling in her hand. "I didn't lie," he said softly. "I just didn't tell you everything." "Which is the same thing," she snapped. "You made me believe you were someone else. You let me pay for dinner. You let me think we were equals. But you were testing me, weren't you?" His voice cracked. "No, I just needed to know someone could love me without the money, without the name." Her eyes brimmed with tears. "I don't know what part of you is real, Ethan, and that terrifies me." She turned and walked away. The rain fell harder. Ethan stood frozen in the park, hollow. A week passed. Silence. Lucy tried to lose herself in work, but everything reminded her of Ethan and the girls. The empty library corner where they once sat, the crayons left untouched. Then, one rainy morning, she found something taped to the library door. A child's drawing. Stick figures. A tall man, a woman with yellow hair, and two little girls. Red hearts floating above. Below, in uneven crayon letters, "We miss you, Miss Lucy." Her breath caught. Tears blurred her vision. And then, small footsteps. "Miss Lucy." Emma and Ella ran toward her, bundled in raincoats, clutching a tiny umbrella. Their cheeks glowed with joy. Behind them stood Ethan, drenched, holding a small wooden box. "I didn't come to explain," he said softly. "I came to show you something." He opened the box. Inside were dozens of crayon drawings, folded paper hearts, faded finger paintings. "These were from Julia," he said, voice thick. "My wife. She drew with them every week. After she passed, they stopped. Until you brought that joy back." Lucy's tears spilled freely. She looked at the girls, so small, so trusting. Then at Ethan, vulnerable, stripped of titles, only a man holding hope. Without a word, she stepped forward, arms wrapping around all three of them. In the rain, forgiveness bloomed. The little countryside home wasn't a mansion. Wildflowers lined the garden. Crickets hummed in the dusk. Lucy came often now. Her slippers waited at the door. Her mug sat in the kitchen cabinet. She read bedtime stories in the worn armchair by the window. Together, she and Ethan baked messy cookies, laughed at flower fights, built forts with the twins, and found healing in each other's presence. One evening, as golden light spilled through the curtains, Emma curled up beside Lucy and whispered, "Can you stay forever?" Lucy looked at Ethan. His eyes glistened with unspoken words. "Yes, sweetie," Lucy whispered, kissing the girl's forehead. "Forever." Ethan took Lucy's hand across the table, holding it firmly. This time, no lies, no secrets, just truth, love, and family. And for the first time since both had lost everything, they believed in beginnings again.